Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Yeah, hey everybody, welcome. Listen, welcome. It's great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. So one of the things that I love is, you know, we live in an incredible place, right, Benny? Say hi to Benny first. Hi, B.
Hi, Benny. How are the...
Hi, Benny. How are you?
What's up?
Just don't go over the I-90, right?
No, it's fine right now. The Blue Angels they don't start for a couple of days.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I guess I'm ahead on like my email notifications, right?
Maybe.
I just got an alert. Listen, you and I have been doing this for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And so along the way, I think each of us has gotten to grow a little bit. And so right in our own backyard, I'm always amazed and thrilled that we've got people that are just shooting up here, that are bringing a new narrative to the whole human potential movement. And so I was so thrilled, to know that Coach Susan Denee, has an entire platform that is all about how to growth spurt your life. And I was thinking about us along the way. It's kind of like, we go through these periods where we pop up a little bit like a little seedling, right? And then we continue to grow, we continue to change, and sometimes we just pop right up and the leaves just bloom and everything's okay. But then every once in a while, maybe we get sort of like a little insect that starts to chew away on our leaves. And we're thinking a little bit about, wow, am I taking a few steps back in my growth? Well, I don't know about you, Benny, but I pretty much take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. I really know that about myself. But today, we're going to be talking with Susan, not only about her upcoming event. You're going to hear all about that. It's actually her Wonder Woman workshop. We're going to hear about how she developed the person she is today and what Growth Spurt Your Life is all about. For those of you that are listening to the show, I want to let you know that we're going to give out Susan's website, all of the above. She is a certified high performance coach. She's specializing in women's empowerment. Thank you for that. Yesterday, you heard Ursula talk about women in sales, and that really got me off the edge of my seat. Today, you're going to hear how someone develops her own life and coaches and mentors women. She's been doing it for over 15 years. She works with women about emotions, relationships, health, and professionally, like who we want to be when we grow up. You're going to hear today how she started mentoring. But beyond all of that, she's also an executive. She's a director of Merchants Credit Association out of Redmond. She's a corporate trainer. And beyond any of that, she has learned how to bring a powerful message to the world today at a high vibration that not only absolutely collapses the old narrative of what it means to be a leader, but builds an entirely new one. One of the most important things I want to tell you about Susan is that she's got a really cool motorcycle. I just love that. Susan, great to have you on the show. Good to have you here. Benny, you going to ask what kind of bike she's got? Benny, you going to ask? You probably.
Sorry, I was on the phone. What was that? Say it again.
You going to ask what kind of motorcycle Susan's got?
You have a motorcycle too, Susan?
Yeah, Benny, I have a couple motorcycles, actually.
Look at you, big baller. You're an outlaw if you have more than one. You're an outlaw. All right. Good for you.
All right, tell us. Tell us what you got.
All right. Well, the big ballers got a Ducati 1200 Monster and a Ducati Multistrada.
Wow.
So yes. There you go. One for fun and one for touring, Benny.
Sure. Right. I love them ducks. Gotta love them ducks.
Yeah, they're good. They're great.
Well, Susan, it's great to have you. How much fun is this?
You know what, Pat? I just want to, it's awesome to be here, first of all. So thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm excited. I'm really thrilled about my upcoming event. And I just want you to know how much I truly appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share what I can give back to women on all sorts of different levels in their life. So thank you for that today.
Well, here's the way I like to start my show. It goes like this. Look, I just gave a brief introduction. You can never really introduce somebody. So one of the things I love is, given everything I've just said about you and a lot more that you're going to share, I want to know what some of the obstacles, what some of the challenges were that you had to personally overcome to bring you to this very moment right here, right now. Yeah, we don't ease into this. Just
that's all. That's good by me. As I get to explore and explain a little bit about what I do, I believe there's the 4 areas in our life in which we get to grow. And it's our relationships, our emotions, our career, and our health. And in the emotions, the relationships, and the health, I had gone through my growth spurts over time in those key areas. And all of those have contributed to me being here today. But the most significant and, the most recent growth spurt, I should say, that really brought me here today to join you was the growth spurt in career. That was the most recent one that brought me to where I'm sitting today. And a little bit of that story was about 3 years ago. I was up for a wonderful opportunity at the day job. And it was an opportunity that awakened something within me that I didn't even know had been sleeping. It was the potential of entrepreneurship. And with this opportunity came ideas of creativity. It came ideas of leadership, things that had been kind of sleeping in the professional arena. And what happened was, very close to an opportunity coming to fruition, it got taken away because the other person, the other party involved, changed their mind. That day, I came to realize how devastating essentially a work rock bottom could be. And as I left that person's office and I slowly walked back to my cubicle, taking everything I had to not lose it, I sat down at my cubicle, and what my next step was is I had to pick up the phone and I had to call somebody to ask them to pay probably their small balance medical bill that day. And it was one of the most defining moments I can really say in my life that really awakened me. However, that didn't mean that overnight I changed. It didn't mean that the next day I grasped this opportunity of rock bottom and really ran with it. What it meant was I started to realize that I needed more in that particular arena of my life. But for a year and a half, I stayed in what I would essentially label a cage, and I started to struggle. And I really fought to get to work every single day. And I'm sure some of the folks listening to the show might know what it's like when you just got to put food on the table and you have to provide the roof over your head and you've got a family dependent on you. Yet day in and day out, you go to that job, and every now and then it works on you. After about a year and a half of sitting in my little pity pot, it wasn't little, it's probably pretty big. I was in my car. I was going back home to Nebraska to visit mom and dad. And I come across a video by Les Brown and Zig Ziglar. I didn't even know who Les Brown was. I didn't know who Zig Ziglar was. All I knew was that the potential of marketing or sales, that door kind of kept opening with the day job. Didn't even want the door. In fact, I wanted that door to stay shut. But I had done enough work in those other 3 areas to know that something was opening there. So I Googled this video, and on came Les Brown. And I didn't even know who he was. And I'm leaving Denver in my rental car. I've got my car. I barely even know what YouTube is at this point. It's just hysterical. And he says, people go to work every day miserable, and yet they do nothing about it. And those words just sat with me. And I knew that was me. And I literally grieved for almost that 4-hour drive all the way home to North Platte, Nebraska, I grieved the loss of the old self, because what I knew in that moment, it was a defining moment. I knew there was no going back. There was no going back to that cubicle and having to live that day in and day out. It was time to get serious and apply the same growth to this particular area of my life that I had to those other 3 areas. And so that's what brings me here to you today. So I've been working on that growth, and I've been putting the skill set, creating the skill set, working on the skill set for over 3 years now. And today I get to be on a radio show talking to you, and that's a wonderful opportunity. So hopefully that answers your question. But that was what brings me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that, what you are reflecting upon is a situation at work, because I was reading, I always like to read about the latest study that comes out about work. And what we find is that, misery finds itself in the workplace. There are more people that have held on to jobs, especially, they say, over the past decade, out of the fear of losing that job and fear of a future, right? So their fear barometer starts to, ramp itself up as they think about a future without that job that every day makes them very unhappy. The difference between most people and you is that there's action. And now, that kind of leads to what we'll talk about when we come back, is what do we do when we have an awakening like that and we're given that same old just is not going to be there for you. What do? You could either do something about it, or you could either do nothing about it, but something inside of you calls you forward. When we come back, we're going to talk about what that is and how all of that leads to what you're about to do here, the Pacific Northwest, and then across the globe. Stay tuned, everybody. Susan Denee is in the house. And by the way, we're taking your questions. 1-800-930-2819. Give us a shout. We'll be right back.
You so precious when you smile. Hit it from the back and drive you wild. Girl, I lose myself up in those eyes. I just had to.
Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L., on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio and join Sarah on an adventurous journey to the deeper level of meaning to move beyond today's world of constant change, confusion, and uncertainty beyond the shadow of fear. This hit show explores key concepts such as confidence, values, and attitude in a dynamic way. To learn more about Sarah and her work, visit sarahmain.com.
Are you your story? Or can you change your story? Can you change what you believe to be true about yourself and your circumstances as part of your healing journey? What if you were to change your expectations? What if you were to invite ease and cooperation into every day and then step back and see what happens? It might just be easier. I'm Megan Edge, and I hope that you'll join me on my new radio show, Playing on the Edge, Radical Change with Ease, with my co-host Dr. Pat on Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to seeing you there.
Want to find out more about Megan Edge? Visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Practice living in wholeness with the body tune-up. 6 classes for $89 designed for radical self-healing and self-regeneration. Heal the deepest root of any challenge. The mental body was programmed in negativity. not good enough, separate from source. You're too much. You'll never make it. The emotional body holds all the pain and trauma of emotional suppression, all the pain from this life and lives past. The spiritual body is the place you connect with your higher power, your higher self, with the image and likeness of the One. The physical body houses and expresses the other three bodies every day. Go to CorneliaStephanie.com. Evolve, become a practitioner. We need to heal, integrate, and bring into wholeness and harmony the physical body, addressing all the other bodies in order to live in our true, authentic nature.
Girl, I lose myself up in those eyes. I just adore.
There we go, Benny. Thank you. Hey, everybody, welcome back. For more information about us, you can just go Dr. Pat in Google and you'll find the Dr. Pat Show. You'll also find Transformation Talk Radio. And Susan, what is the best way for people to find out more about you? And of course, we're going to tell them all about the upcoming workshop.
I think the best way to find out about me simply is to check out my website at www.susandenee.com. And Denee is Denee, in case they need that. But it's got my story on there. It's got some of the things that I do. It's got some videos on there. If you really want to get to know how do I sound, what do I teach, my YouTube channel could be a great place to check in. And my Instagram, I mean, really the social media, but the website will give you the details of the story.
Okay, so listen. We're having some pivotal moments here. I shared yesterday my little pivotal moment playing ping pong, table tennis, the Washington State table tennis, right? And honestly, I went there just to have fun, to play with my friend Dipti, just totally to just have fun. I mean, I haven't played it with people like that I didn't know really. So we went down. So I walk away with 2 gold medals. And I'm thinking to myself, and Dipti, of course, in Dipti's age group, right? Age group, her 51 or 52. I love that I didn't know any of this. So here's my question to you about your journey. What is it about your journey and where we are going to be here this month, this workshop? We're going to talk about it. But what is it about this journey where you didn't know what you didn't know about how you got from that thing, that awful thing, to this moment? So what is it that you didn't know about what you didn't know about this?
There is so much I could say right now, but I'm gonna keep it simple for the moment. That day in the car, when I heard Les Brown's voice and I had my moment of clarity, there was like this little voice that was kind of in the back, and it was something like, I wonder if you're supposed to be doing something bigger, kind of like when you work with all these women in recovery from addiction and alcoholism. I just wonder if for the last, 14 years, this thing that you've been doing with these women and helping them rebuild their lives, maybe, just maybe, that's the angle you're supposed to go in. And that thought was immediately followed up with, well, how the hell do I do that?
Right.
How do I get from, and it was very overwhelming, and it was very, I can honestly say it was scary. And that was part of that grieving I was talking about from point A to point B that day in that long drive. So I kept it simple. And as I started wrapping my head around sales and marketing, and I started to understand that I needed to get educated. And so that was kind of the first one. And that was kind of related to the day job that I really needed to start. How do you do this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing I asked myself is, and this is something I would suggest to anybody else, because, everybody says, what's your purpose? What's your passion? It's not something for me that I just woke up one day and said, oh, here's your passion. It's not like that. Right. It is so far from that. It's unbelievable. But what it started with was, what do you really enjoy doing? What do you like to do? That was the question. And for me, I love to publicly speak. I love to be in front of an audience. I love to give strength and hope to the masses. I am very comfortable in that arena. It doesn't mean that I don't get a little nervous, but it means that I like it. I really enjoy it. How do I build that skill set? Just because I like doing something doesn't necessarily mean I have the skill set associated with it. And I had a person in my life at work who always talked about this group called Toastmasters. Public speaking skill set, right? So I joined Toastmasters, and that is an example of what I've been doing over the last 3 years, whether it was online marketing, whether it was Facebook or Instagram. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm 43 years old. I did not even have a Facebook page 3 years ago. I've been mentoring all those women for so long and working a full-time job and raising my kiddos. There's no time to sit down at a computer. So when I started to go onto this journey and I started to realize, oh my goodness, you've got a whole world of social media to learn about. Everything was basics. Everything was step by step. So Facebook, all the social media websites, how do you create a website and where do you go for that? And how do you add a blog? What's a blog? I had to look up a blog. I remember asking my mentor, what's a blog? Because that's how elementary it was for me in the beginning. And so there are a lot of steps to get to where I'm at today. And over that time, as I started to discover how to put, it's so funny, how to put together whatever this is going to be, which ultimately I know is a vision and a desire to help thousands of women rise to new levels in their life, emotionally, spiritually, professionally, health-wise. That's the vision. How I get from A to point, to B, I kind of stay out of the results as much as I can, and I just build on the skill set. And as I do that, the passion becomes clearer and clearer and clearer as I go.
I love that. And, I love it for a couple of reasons. One is we look at people like you, people like me, and the population at large, our listeners, other people, they take a look at us. And, they hear me talk about the fact that I dialed the wrong phone number. That's why I'm here today, 15 years later. What they don't hear is all of the in between, what that took, how much work, how little I knew, nothing. But you shared something really interesting. And I want to really get back to it because it really leads to now what you're doing to help women. I had to learn a lot of stuff. I really did. I mean, when I left that comfort of that corporate job in 92, when I left that job, I had never in my life not had some kind of secure job. And what I had to learn, you can't really describe. But the thing that you said is that you're on an ongoing mission to get some skills. How often do we as women miss that opportunity?
I think we miss it. I believe it's almost like earlier I shared about being awakened to another lifestyle, to this entrepreneurship. In my emotional recovery from sobriety or from alcoholism and addiction, I was awakened to this other lifestyle. And I believe when it comes to skill set development, sometimes we just forget. We forget that there's more to learn, more that we can do. And it's really so easy to settle into mediocrity. And I'm not judging, wanting to relax in the evening or anything. That's not where I'm going with this. But it's so easy to create habits and routines that are no longer serving us. And then all of a sudden, we come across something new. All of a sudden, you see somebody say, oh, I took this art class. One of the suggestions I'll give to the women that I coach is, when's the last time you did something new? When's the last time you just learned something? Go learn how to paint. Go learn, just exercise that brain of yours and start to remember what it's like and how invigorating it is to learn something new. And so I do believe that, in one way we have to be reminded, and I personally, I prefer to work with women because that's where all my experience has been, but we have to be reminded. We have to be reminded to open up that skill set. And I also think that we've forgotten how intelligent, how driven, and how possible it is for us. We get mired down in the details of day-to-day life. How are we going to pay the bills? How's my marriage doing? What's my relationship with my kids? And we get overwhelmed by those things and we forget.
Yeah, we do. And I love that because, we're going to talk about this when we come back from break, but you're creating now a way to mentor other women so that other women could empower other women. It really is the ripple effect. And we actually have a ticket to give away today. But, you've created a workshop that you're holding on the 18th of August. And I found that number very interesting when I saw it in writing for the first time. 8-18-18. I thought that is really interesting. I wonder if Susan did the numerology on that. But this is an event you're having, and I'm going to be there for the morning part for the introduction. But this is about invoking the Wonder Woman in each of us. And so we are going to give a ticket away. When we come back, we're going to talk about what this workshop is about, why it's important in the world we live in today, given everything we see going on, with women. Every time you turn on the news, it's some other person in power that has abused their power and has done something in a way that the world didn't even know about. Well, that is changing now. We do have to learn the skill of how to find our voice. Susan Denee is here. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Wonder Woman workshop, how to growth spurt your life, and we have a ticket to give away. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
But I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So you can wipe off that grin.
Tune in to The Truth is Funny with Colette Steffen each Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This hit show will have you thinking outside the box and riding the wave of infinite potential. Join Colette on the Higher Self Network, inspiring listeners to shine their brilliance and ensure success while roaring with laughter as they recognize the humor of the giant cosmic joke. Visit thetruthисfunny.com.
What is holding you back from living the life you are meant to live? Why is it vital to believe in something bigger than yourself? Are you in physical or emotional pain? Tune in monthly to Vibrant Purposeful Living. Awaken the vibrant life within you with Lou Paradise and Dr. Pat on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Lou's passion is to help everyone experience positive solutions for life. Find out more about Lou with Vibrant Purposeful Living at LouParadise.com.
Tune in to Knowledge Book Radio with host Marge Potasic each Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Through many experiences, Marge was led to the Knowledge Book, a gift to humanity in its transition to the Golden Age, and it provided the truth and the answers. She now shares information from the Knowledge Book with you each week on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Are you ready to make deep, lasting, transformative changes? Then tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio for Susanna Jameson's hit show, Love, Light, Sound Radio. During her show, Susanna inspires and supports spiritually and health-conscious individuals all over the world to reconnect with their hearts, their inner peace, and balance. Love, Light, Sound Radio. Transformation happens here now. For more information, visit SusannaJameson.com.
Ignite your inner magic on Grow Your Soul Radio with Jane Matanga. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio as host Jane Matanga explores how to overcome your fears to help you gain the inspiration you need to awaken your path to joy. Learn the way to life mastery and the enlightened path with Grow Your Soul Radio. For more information on Jane Matanga and her work, visit enlightened-path.com.
Do you remember when it first started? September, love was changing the minds to love.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Susan Denee is in the house. Listen, we're talking about what does it mean to growth spurt your life and how to do it, with this incredible women empowerment coach. Now, here's the thing I want to say. We are going to give a pair of tickets away to the workshop, please write the date down, August 18th. It's from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Growth Spurt Your Life, the Wonder Woman Workshop. It's Saturday, August 18th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And Susan's going to tell you where it is. But when you call in for the pair of tickets, or if you get back to us on Facebook for these, the thing I want to say to everybody, please, please, please make sure you're going to show up and go. That's what I want to say, because these seats for this workshop are very, very precious. They're premium. Seats here are going like hotcakes. So if anything about what we're talking about today is something you relate to, go to Susan's website, susandenee.com, and I'll make sure you have that spelling, Susan, DENEE.com, susandenee.com. Go there under events. You're going to be able to register for the workshop. Susan, tell everybody where it's being held and give us a little bit of information. Why was this workshop important for you to do?
I think in anything, one of the best things we can do is set deadlines for ourselves, set a goal out there. It'll absolutely catapult you to new levels of action. The reason behind the workshop and the inspiration that came behind that was I was coming into 2018. I knew I'd been doing all this work towards learning new skill sets, and this just seemed like the next appropriate step to take in order to push me to my limit of skill development.
Yeah.
And so here I've been developing, the marketing and the speaking and things like that, actually, and it was just time to implement that. And it was important for me to take it to the next level and push through any type of hesitation or fear, anything like that may have been out there, and just make this happen. And because I'm so passionate about helping women, and because I love teaching and I love giving back what's been given to me, this just seemed very appropriate to do. And it's always funny how the universe can give back to us at certain times if we are open to seeing the signs. I was at one of my certification of coaching within the last year, and it was in California, and you're talking 300, 400 people. And this woman out of nowhere comes up and she goes, "Oh, you're from Seattle." And I said, "Yeah, Seattle area." She says, "Well, did you meet the other guy from Seattle?" And I said, "No, I didn't meet him." And she says, "Oh, well, let me introduce you." So she introduces me to him, a nice chiropractor over from the east side.
Yeah.
And he says to me, he starts talking about events. And he says, there's this event place, and it's in Woodinville. And I thought, oh, that's like very close to where I live. And so he tells me about the event space. So I had been looking into different places to do this workshop, hotels and all these rooms, and nothing really quite felt like it fit. And then I remembered the feedback he had given me, and I found the place. I reached out to him. I found the place. Saw the Brightwater Center on Highway 9 up in Woodinville. That's where the event's going to be held.
Wow.
And when I walked in there, the room's gorgeous. They've got the big screen. It's just a great event place. And it was just like it was meant to happen. So that's where it's going to be. It's at the Brightwater Center in Woodinville on August 18th. And I just believe that that's just the way that was supposed to work out. We went there like a week ago just to make sure everything was up and operating and everything went well. And I was even that much more excited. It's just perfect. Yeah. Look forward to it.
And don't you love, though, the synchronicity of these things?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it interesting? Here you go to an event. And this is really sort of what I wanted to talk with you about, especially about the workshop, is that, we have these growth spurts. And one of the things is to be awake enough to be aware enough. Mm-hmm. See, if you're not awake enough to be aware enough, and you're off at a training and a coaching, and you're not fully present, you're not going to get that connection. It's not going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But every day, don't we have opportunities for this? Isn't it almost like when you were a kid and, you used to go out, and then they would have these little pictures when you went out, and you got to connect the dots, right? And just very intuitively, you're following the numbers and connecting the dots, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you're done, there is a picture. Is life like that? Is Growth Spurt your life like that? And, for me, the question is, what kinds of things might people learn at your workshop?
Well, earlier we talked about, and what you're talking about is being awakened.
Yeah.
And I was sharing about how easy it is to get stuck in the routine of life and only put things in front of you, such as paying the bills and all these other things that we will be worried about. We will have all these anxieties about. And the one thing that we sometimes fail to do, if I want to use that word fail,
Yeah,
is really
I like it. I use the word fail. I've been 15 years at the beginning of my show. I use what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And then these women started a whole website because you know what? The reality is life is that when we mess up on something, we do think we failed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you use it away.
So we fail to really take a look at who we are, where we are right now today. At this age, with this experience, with everything that we've brought to the table, who are we today? And so the workshop covers the four steps, and it's coming from the high performance arena. On one half of it, that's the certification and the qualification of that. Something that I thought, well, I've been working with all these women for so many years now, all in the recovery of addiction and alcohol, and you'll see their testimonies on my website. But, some people might like a certification to go along with that. So I went ahead and got the certification. But there's four key, it was a great experience. But there's four key areas that I'm going to be discussing on the high performance end of things. And the first one is clarity. How clear are you with who you are today? And there's always going to be thought-provoking questions. And that's one of the reasons why a workshop is so beneficial for folks, because it really gets us out of our comfort zone and it puts us in an environment where we are around an energy that really is open to feedback and to thinking in a new way. To grow, we got to think in a new way. So we talk about clarity. Another area that we're going to talk about that I'm passionate about is energy. How much energy do you bring to the day? And if you had 3 times more energy in your life, what could you produce? What could you make happen if you had 3 times more energy? And how do you get 3 times more energy, right? So we'll talk about energy. Another one of the areas that we're going to be discussing is courage. When was the last time in your life that you felt very courageous in something that you did? And just have a moment to tap into that. And then we're going to expand on that. And how do you bring that same courage to your life circumstances right here, right now, today? So many people get blocked by their fear and scared of what's not going to happen for them, or scared if they take a step out, what that result may be. But where's the courage? Because we've all had it at different times in our lives. We've all displayed courage. And the last one is just productivity. How would you feel if you had 3 times more productivity? How do you get there? And so that's the first part of the workshop, is the first half of the day. We're going to be covering those 4 lessons in high performance. Gives everybody an opportunity to look at things a little bit differently. The second half of the seminar, the workshop, and this came from actually I was sitting in that coaching certification, and I'm sitting in this room, and we're going, and they're going through it. Some of the stuff was kind of basic because I'd been mentoring and coaching women for so long, but there were new people in that room, and they had never coached. And we're at a time in our society where there's so much thought leadership out there. Everybody, not everybody, but there's a large portion of people who have a message to share.
Yeah.
And so they're all sitting in this room and they're getting certified as coaches and they're really excited about it. And then he opens it up to Q&A. And they've got questions like, well, what do I do when they tell me they've got this horrible divorce they're going through? And, and they were like little babies trying to figure out, wow, that's kind of real when they start bringing that to the table. I'm in the back of the room wanting to raise my hand like, I know the answer, right? So the second half of the seminar is going to be really focused on some of the skills and techniques that I've used with the women over the years to help those who might be wanting to mentor other women. You mentioned earlier, the gift of being able to give back the gift. Yeah. It truly is it's an honor to do that with ladies and with people, whoever you are. But so second half of the workshop is going to be focused on skills and strategies that I've developed over the last 15 years and given back. And so not only will they be used in helping others, but also they'll give the women another way of looking at how they emotionally process things and how they do, which will just build upon that first half of the clarity, energy, and all of that.
Yeah, that's why I asked the question that I asked, because, for me, a large part of my life, I didn't know what I didn't know, but I'm a super curious person. The other thing that is important in what you said is that I like the idea that you're talking about learning new skills. And what I like about that is so often we look at where we want to go and we see the enormity of it. We see that, oh my God, do I really want to achieve that? Well, what does that mean? 4 years of college, 2 years of master's, 8 years of and we get so far out on down the rabbit hole that we don't do anything. So the idea that you're bringing forward is that any action on your behalf towards a dream is an action that represents a growth spurt to get you to the ultimate place you want to go. And I think that's a different narrative in the world of thought leadership now. You know, it's okay to grow a little bit at a time. Sometimes, don't you think, Susan? I don't know about you. Sometimes I've had little teeny weeny like movement. And other times through a lot of pain, a lot of frustration, like you mentioned, all of a sudden I'm like 6 feet I've grown.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree with that. There's massive shifts of perception, usually as a result of a serious, health crisis or a serious, in the world of recovery, when that person hits rock bottom of addiction and alcoholism. There's different areas that you can just all of a sudden have a shift in perception so dramatic that you want to change. However, that change prior to it has years of habits, years of beliefs, years of all these things that are still going to need worked out. And that's where the growth spurts come from. Because even though we've been awakened and we know we're going to change and we're passionate about that change, there's still going to be work involved with how do I start thinking differently? How do I spot check my emotions? That's something I like to work with the women on. Do you know you're crazy? And when I say crazy, that's in quotes. Do you know you're crazy that's unique to you? Do you know when you start going off the deep end? And can you spot check that and make improvements so that it doesn't no longer have to hold you hostage to a certain belief that you have about yourself? And so all of that is growth spurts over time, just like my wake-up call with going in a new direction.
Yeah.
I've been growth spurting for 3 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know.
It's like that, yeah.
I know. And the other thing, too, that I love about what you're doing in the workshop, and by the way, I want to make sure everybody knows, we're going to give away a pair of tickets, 1-800-930-2819, 1-800-930-2819. Please check your calendar first and say, not doing anything on the 18th. Love to go. 1-800-930-2819. Listen, part of this, too, is learning how to face challenges. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about how our challenges are also the fertilizer for our growth. Stay tuned, everyone. Susan Denee's in the house. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
You feel like summertime. This heart of mine, you'll be my Valentine.
Tap into the wisdom of animals, angels, and masters with Darcy Pariso on Animal Soul Wisdom Radio. Tune in monthly as Darcy brings insights on how to better understand and deepen our relationships with animals. Working with light and pureness of ancient techniques, Darcy, healer, animal communicator, and medium, is here to guide you through this process and provide inspiration to move forward. For more information about working with Darcy, visit darcypariso.com.
Learn about the heart and soul of justice. In Law and Disorder Radio, Megan Lyons will be raising the universal consciousness by empowering listeners with their own inner strength. Megan will show you how to find true healing and inner peace through the art and practice of self-love. From victim to victor. Tune in every first and third Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information about Megan Lyons, visit her website, enterthelight.llc.com.
Did you know that all of the shows on the Transformation Radio Network are available as podcasts to stream or download?
Really?
Check us out. Go to transformationradio.fm. We have business shows, spiritual shows, energy healing shows, and pretty much everything in between. Something for everyone, guaranteed to inspire, educate, and transform. We are transforming the world, one listener at a time.
Tune in to E3 Influence Radio. Own your impact. Master your world. In this new hit show, Sarah Luce, empowerment coach and spiritual mentor, teaches us how to achieve our greatest potential to positively affect everything and everyone. The time is now to enlighten our minds, empower our hearts, and take energized action to raise the consciousness of our planet. Sarah shows us how with simple, easy-to-implement steps. To find out more about Sarah Luce and her E3 Influence program, visit sarahluce.com.
Do you believe you are meant to live with more joy, but you're just not sure how to get it? What does the phrase, "give me the joy," make you feel? Join me, Lynn Horde, every second and fourth Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, on the Gimme the Joy Show, as I take you on a journey to peel back the layers so you can take back your joy. To find out more about my work as the Joy Coach, including my popular programs Joy School and Joy at Work, visit lynnhorde.com.
High frequency healing for an amazing life with Source Light Radio. Join host Laura Barton each month on Transformation Talk Radio as she explores Source Light integration, a unique spectrum of energy, light, and frequency. Experience instantaneous healing and amazing shifts in consciousness with Source Light Integrations Radio. For more information on Laura and her work, visit sourcelightintegrations.com.
Yeah, everybody, it's great to have you. Welcome back. I'm so thrilled to be introducing all of you to Susan Denee. As I said, certified coach, but also she is the mind and the heart behind Growth Spurt Your Life. And that's something you're going to hear a lot more about. One way to let you know about it is to let you know that she's got an upcoming event Saturday, August 18th, 9 to 4. It is in Woodinville, right here in the fabulous state of Washington, Woodinville. Fabulous event location. And if you want to find out more about this, take a look at the flyer. Go to her website, susandenee.com. And Denee is DENEE.com. Susan, one of the things we were talking about before and now is this idea of change. And I don't know about you, but one of the things that I heard you say you're going to help people with during the workshop is how to look at gathering up our energy so that we can take steps forward, so we can be better influencers, so we can do things in our life and make decisions more easily. And we were kind of joking during the break. So one of the things that I wanted to talk with you about is, what do you believe the top 3 takeaways are going to be for people after your workshop?
Top 3 takeaways. I think the first takeaway is going to be which area of life are they wanting to key in on and focus on to grow next. I talk about those 4 key areas: the emotions, the relationships, the health, and the professional. And in everyone's life, there is something going on in one of those areas. And not to be, negative or anything like that, but it's reality. There's usually something going on in one of those areas that we can either grow so that we become more peaceful inside, or enhance to take it to the next level. So I believe one of the top takeaways is going to be, which area of growth do I want to really focus in on and be awakened to a new commitment in that arena? That's one of the first ones. The second one that I really would love for people to take away or walk away with is, how are they with understanding how they process stress? No, they're crazy. Like when they understand that moment. Like I had a woman reach out to me yesterday in text, and I have the opportunity to mentor and coach a group of women on a monthly basis. And we recently went over health and energy, actually. And she was saying, she reached out to the group of women, which I loved because it's a tool that she has at her disposal, and she's taken advantage of it. And she's going to start a new plan of health. And what she reached out was, she said, she used one of the phrases that I use. She's going to embrace the suck for this moment today. And what she meant by that was she's going to take that moment where she realizes how much work this is going to entail, and she's going to just go for it. And she was reaching out to the group for support. And so one of the things that I think is most beneficial is that when we get into that willingness to start moving forward, that we understand when we get off kilter or when we may fall back and take a few steps backwards. And so I had reached out to her directly and said, are you prepared? Have you thought about what tool you're going to apply when this challenge gets difficult for you? And she gave me a couple, and then I gave her some more, and we really talked about the obsession of thought. And so I'm really hoping that the second takeaway that someone can walk away with from the workshop is, how do I work under stressful situations? Where is my trigger that probably contributes to holding me back in some of these areas? And the third takeaway, I would just love it if they just walked away having a fabulous day and a good time. I mean, really, you're in a room full of women who are all on the same page, wanting to take it to the next level. Have fun. Yeah. Enjoy your day off. You just gave yourself 8 hours of growth and opportunity and clarity and energy, and you've downloaded all this information, and we're going to be hooping and hollering and dancing to the music. I mean, walk away with having a nice, just fabulous time. I mean, that would be just make sure you walk away and have fun, because we got to remember to have fun while we're growing. And one of the things that you'll hear me say over and over in my videos and everything that I put out there is, you have to enjoy your journey, because you've only got one and you are totally worth it. And I came across that because I was sitting in a seminar one day, and I was in this last 3 years of this growth thing professionally. And I was sitting in the seminar, and I realized I was getting caught up with what you touched base on earlier, Pat, and that was how much work was going to be involved, and how the overwhelmment could really freeze you from going forward. And I was sitting in the seminar, and it was something the guy said, but I was like, oh my goodness, I have forgotten to enjoy this experience. I'm forgetting to enjoy all the new relationships in my life. I forgot I'm enjoying. So once you tap in to enjoying the journey, none of this is work. It's just opportunity, but it's a shift. Yeah. So those would be the top three.
I love it. And I love this because, I know you, and I've had the honor of being your friend and really taking this journey with you. And so I know that what you're creating is so very important for the time we live in now, for women of all ages. I know this because we're now in an energetic shift on this planet that's calling each of us to step forward differently than we exist in the moment. That doesn't mean we're not good enough. That's not what it's about. It means that if we want to enjoy what you talked about, the fun, the joy, great relationships, absolutely phenomenal friends, if we want to do that, we have to prepare for the new energy. And that's what you have really become the spokesperson and leader for. It's really looking at, despite what your past is, addiction, it doesn't matter, a bankruptcy, it doesn't matter. Whatever that thing that your was, it's not your now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, that's a great little quote there. I got to write that thing down. Dang. I don't even
That's right.
Please don't email me about that not being grammatically correct. All right. Okay. I like that. That's a good one. Listen, thank you for today. One more time, tell folks how to register for the workshop. Thank you for the gift, the pair of tickets. Benny took care of that right away. Let's give out that information and a personal message. What do you want to leave us with?
Well, first I'm going to start with the workshop. So August 18th, 2018 in Woodinville at the Brightwater Center. I would love to see you there. We start at 9 a.m. We'll break for about an hour and a half lunch. I haven't quite decided which one we're going to need, but we're going to wrap it up at 4 p.m. If you are interested in attending this workshop, please go to my website, susandenee.com. You click on events. You'll see the registration form. Fill it out. You'll be all set to go. Parting thought, I just want to put out there one of the driving forces behind everything I'm doing right now is because I've had the privilege and the honor of watching women go to the depths of despair and pull themselves up with the most amazing courage and willingness that someone could witness. I've seen them reestablish their lives. I've seen them get their families back. I've seen them become entrepreneurs. I've seen them I've married them. I mean, that's how awesome it's been. It's been quite a journey. And I just want to say that every single person out there, man or woman, it doesn't matter, but every single one of you have a worth that's within you that is always, it's never going to go away. Yeah. And it's really just about recognizing that within yourself and then having the courage and the willingness to build upon that. And but we're all capable of it. Yeah. And thank you once again. Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, everybody, make sure you go to SusanDenee.com. Check out the workshop. You're going to be hearing a lot more from Susan. Benny, thank you for pushing all the right buttons. And most importantly, thank you for all of you for being the best audience on the planet. All right, everybody. Another hour coming up on Transformation Talk Radio. We'll see you next time.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.